to risk another glance when the assailant popped out from behind a tree. He looked her square in the eye, the barrel of his gun pointing directly at her chest. "Stop right there," he shouted in a hoarse voice. "Put your hands in the air." Angry that she hadn't anticipated the gunman's move, Julianne held his gaze, refusing to glance at Thunder, hoping the thug hadn't seen her partner. "Put your hands in the air," he repeated harshly. She continued to stare at him, knowing if she did as the gunman demanded, he'd shoot where she stood. He'd already killed the van driver. What more did he have to lose? Nothing. So why hadn't he shot her already? Was he looking for information? "Fire that gun and I'll plant a bullet between your eyes." A familiar, deep, husky Texan drawl came from out of nowhere. Brody Kenner. The gunman jerked and glanced to his left. In that split second, she fired at the arm holding his gun. Her FBI training didn't fail her. He screamed in pain. Blood splurted from his right arm, and he dropped the weapon. Then he turned and fled. "Thunder, fetch!" Julianne didn't bother to look over at the man she'd once loved, the man who just saved her life, but remained focused on not losing the perp. She wasn't nearly as fast as Thunder when it came to running through the woods, dodging trees, and it seemed just like mere moments later when she heard tires squealing as a car drove away. She slowed down, gasping for breath, knowing it was too late. The gunman and whoever had run from the prison van had escaped. Frustration clawing through her, she headed over to the vehicle to check on the driver. The poor man was dead. She murmured a prayer, wishing she had something to cover him with before turning her attention to the issue at hand. "Thunder!" Hearing nothing but silence, her heart lodged in her throat. Had the dog jumped into the getaway car? Or had someone attacked him? But then her partner came bounding back through the woods toward her. When he saw her, he let out his usual strangely musical foxhound howl. "Good boy," she said, bending over to give him a good rub, scratching the soft spot between his ears. "Good boy, Thunder." What in the world was that noise? Taking a deep breath, she straightened and turned to face Brody Kenner. He was taller and broader than she remembered, but had the same dark hair and brilliant blue eyes that she'd tried not to dream about after he'd broken her heart 6 years ago. He was dressed in a deep brown uniform with a sheriff's star on his chest. So he was the Clover County sheriff now? Somehow, she wasn't surprised. Brody looked good. Better than good. Her chest felt tight and she had to concentrate in order to breathe normally. What was wrong with her? What she and Brody once had was over and done with, had been for a long time. A familiar flash of resentment twisted, turned into something softer. Regret. Seeing him again, she hated to admit that maybe things weren't as finished as she'd wanted them to be. Just looking at him standing there, so big and strong and formidable, wreaked havoc with her emotions, erupting her buried feelings to the surface where they had the power to hurt her all over again. Brody's pulse still pounded at how Julianne had nearly been shot to death right in front of his eyes. What was she doing here? As far as he knew, she hadn't stepped foot in the Lone Star State since joining the FBI Academy 6 years ago. "Thanks for helping." Julianne's clipped voice was colder than the clover river in January. "Hey, what are friends for?" He grinned, but she didn't smile back. Her long ebony hair was pulled back from her face, and her large dark eyes, a legacy from her Puerto Rican father, never made it easy to guess what she was thinking. She wore khaki slacks paired with a dark shirt, a small FBI canine logo over the left breast pocket. He'd known Julianne had left Texas to attend the academy, but hadn't known the FBI had a canine unit or that she'd joined it, although she always had loved dogs. She frowned. "How did you get here so fast?" He lifted a brow. As the sheriff, he was the one who should be